Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. On the show, we interview other writers and we talk about mental health from their personal journeys. If you have not already hit that like and subscribe button, go ahead, do that now so that you never miss an episode. Hello, world. So I was situated and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna grab this one thing, and then this one thing wasn't where I thought it was. So never mind. So welcome to this wonderful Wednesday. Actually, it's pretty sunny out. It's really cold, but it's sunny here. How's your weather looking?
It's beautiful. It's about 45, but it's blue sky sunshine. It's a beautiful fall day where I'm at in my neck of the woods.
I don't know what 45 means. Just hold on.
Oh, yes, right. Celsius.
7.
I was going to say it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's 7, which is probably about what it is here, but that's chilly. I like 25, which is, I don't know, 80 something.
I think, yeah, you double it and add 30. Yeah, that's the easiest way I do it for Celsius. Double Celsius and add 30.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Fahrenheit confuses my brain. Anywho,
Celsius confuses my brain.
Unless I'm baking. If I'm baking, it needs to be in Fahrenheit because everything's like 450 degrees, 350 degrees.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So everyone, welcome back. And we have a return guest. If you have not already watched her previous episode, then go on to the way back. I feel like take the way back machine.
A couple years ago.
It was. I feel like you were on year 1 and we are now on year 3.
Yeah. By golly, there we are. Yeah, it's been a while.
It has. So welcome, Kim Lengling. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a bit of a hectic morning, but
yes,
it's all good.
Kim lost her internet. She didn't know, she got the time wrong. So she's like, I can't do it. I have no internet. And I'm like, but girl, actually,
I was a half hour early.
Yes. So it worked out fantastically for me.
Yeah, I had it wrong on my calendar half hour earlier. I'm going, I have no internet.
Yeah. Life, right? Life just likes to bombard us sometimes.
Yeah.
So for those who have not watched your last episode, tell us a little bit about who Kim is.
Who I am. Golly. Well, I like to consider myself the queen of the realm, and that's where I live, is my realm. And I control what goes on. I think I do anyway. But I'm an author. I have a podcast as well. And you've been my guest on that. Let Fear Bounce. I just had August had an anthology of which you were co-authoring and shared stories of your pets. Yes. Paw Prints on the Kitchen Floor.
I will talk about that.
And Randi, you have 2 stories there. One about your dog, a dog and a cat, I believe. Yeah. And that was just released in August. So that's always fun to coordinate those anthologies. And that's one thing I like doing. And I think we're going to do 1 more Paw Prints book and then 3 is a series. And then I think we're done because it's so much work. But,
I bet. Yeah.
When you're putting that all together, and I mean, it's awesome. All the stories and all the co-authors that I get to meet, but the proceeds go to a local no-kill shelter, animal shelter in my area where I live. So I don't mind it. I mean, it is a tremendous amount of work.
Yes.
But I also know at the end of the day, it's helping those fur babies with the care that they need. So whatever little bit we can do that I can do to help through this book, that's what I don't mind doing that. So that's out. But I have another one coming out next month, November.
Oh.
November 15th, called Nuggets of Hope. And it's all about, cultivating kindness in this bit of a dark world that we find ourselves in from time to time. Yes. So there's a mission I've been on the last couple years. Yes. And Nuggets of Hope. Here's my little nugget that says hope on it. So for the last couple years, I've been handing these out to people. And it's typically strangers, people I don't know. I feel very strongly urged and nudged to approach a person, and I'll be out running errands and I'll be like, I think I'm supposed to give that person a nugget of hope. And I've been doing that for a couple of years, like I said. And so those stories, when I would come home, those interactions, I would write them down because they're so powerful. And then I thought, you know what? I want to share these, not just on social media, but I want to put it in a book. And so I'm sharing those stories, and along with just practical things and ways of just be kind.
Right?
You know,
like, is it really that hard?
No, and it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost anything. And the way I say it is, you know, just in yours, you can't change the world. I'm one person. I can't change the world, but I can change little by little my small slice of the world. And just think if everyone did that, practiced more kindness in their slice of the world, whether it's your town, your borough, your city, whatever.
Oh, the whole world.
I'm telling you,
the
whole world would be different.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time wrapping my brain around negativity and divisiveness and hatred and all this finger pointing.
Actually, something that we say at my my day job, my bills paying job, is so because we answer the phones a lot, and sometimes we get yelled at by people. So whenever we get off the phone, we're always like, why do you want to just be negative?
Right.
Why does somebody want to live in this negativity? I just, okay, something could have upset you. Maybe, so it's a driving school, right? So, okay, maybe your kid didn't have the best experience the first time out because they've never driven before. Guess what? It's a scary thing, guys. It just is. But that doesn't mean you have to call somebody and yell at them, especially when that person's trying to help you solve their problem.
Yes.
Maybe be a little nicer to the customer service people you're getting on the phone. Just saying. We have feelings too.
Right. I was in sales and marketing for over 20 years. So I dealt with all kinds. Kinds. And so often, you had so many times you'd have to bite your tongue because some people can be really harsh.
Yeah.
And just awful. And were there times where it got to the point where it's like, you know what? I as a person do not have to listen to this. And I hung up on people.
I have done that a handful of times, not many in my
years, not many.
But there is a handful
you reach a certain line, it's like, no, I do not have to sit here and listen to this.
Right, exactly. And there's definitely been
have
times
someone rip me apart personally. Right. Not going to happen. I don't care what my job is or who you are.
Right. And there's actually been times that all the girls in the office, I've heard them be like, if you keep yelling at me, I'm going to hang up. Right. Like it's that simple, especially when, again, that person on the phone, they're usually trying to help you and have no idea what the heck you're talking about to begin with. And
it's not your job to find out that their personal life is horrible. That's why they're in such a poopy mood.
Right.
It's not your job. Yeah. So people just be kind. Really.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I've definitely been guilty of being upset going to customer service. I remember this one time I'm on the phone with them and I go, and my voice is definitely raising. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just so very upset, but I know it's not your fault.
I've done that too. And I'll say, I know that I am coming across as harsh. And please believe me when I say it is not directed at you, but I'm incredibly frustrated with the entire process right now.
Yeah. And I can say, as being the other person on the phone, hearing somebody say that, it actually does make me feel better. Because I'm like, okay, so it's not me. Let's figure this out then.
Yeah. And it's tough. It is. Life is hard sometimes, frustrating at times, especially if you have all those little things just coming at you from everywhere. And then that one little thing, like, you stub your toe and that was the last thing you can't handle anymore.
Yeah, and the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's
right. Yeah. Exactly. And that actually is, you know what? Because you've been on the show before and we've heard your story. I think this is actually a really nice topic to talk about this go round, because it is such I want to say epidemic. Honestly, that's what it feels like in day-to-day life. Like, I remember even one time I was at Walmart and the worker was like 2 minutes late coming back to her cash, right? And the manager was just reaming her out in front of everyone. I honestly felt like being like, girl, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Calm down. Like, you yelling at her in front of everyone, you should not be a manager at that point. Like,
No, that's
that's
poor
me.
leadership skills.
It really is. I felt so bad for that girl. I was just like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, and you have to take your break way at the other side of the store and like,
Yeah,
oh,
my mom actually
frustrating.
worked at Walmart for years as a retiree,
Mm,
and so she did that part-time. And because unfortunately, most seniors have to supplement their income after
yep.
they're retired so they can pay
Mm,
for their medication.
yep.
So she did that for years and she put up with so much stuff. It was crazy. The stuff that she would come, she'd be sharing with us, oh my goodness. And finally we're just like, do you really have to still work? Because it was actually starting to affect her health,
Yeah.
the stress. And I'm like, it's Walmart.
Right.
You should not be experiencing this much stress at your age.
Exactly. And that's just it. If you are
You've got a
going
30-year-old manager yelling at you because you weren't fast enough. It's like, wait a second, sweet pea. I'm more than double your age and I could still run circles around you. I mean,
right, I was doing this before you were born.
right, right. So
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I've found since I started doing this hope thing, this hope nugget thing, and the way that it came to me a couple years ago, because the word hope showed up everywhere.
And I was going to say, I know in the last episode you told us how it came to be, but because it was such a long time ago, how did you come up with that? Like, what inspired you to just start giving people nuggets of hope?
People probably think I'm crazy, and that's
Well, you a
okay.
little bit are. Actually, so I am making a calendar right now because every year my daughter makes a calendar and she sells it. It used to be for her service. So she started, I want to say 9 years ago. It was to raise money for her service dog. We've got the service dog. So then we kept doing it because she had a little following. And then it was money for college. And so now I guess it still kind of is money for college because she just started this year. So, but I put it together. She designs all the art and then I throw quotes with it. And the one that I just did just before I came on here was I don't remember the exact thing because memories, but it was about how a friend is believing you're a good egg even though they know you're a little cracked. So you
That's
want a little
perfect.
bit of something though.
That's perfect. Well, who wants to be normal? Who wants to
It's
be
totally
normal? It
overrated.
is overrated. Yeah. So a couple years ago, the word hope was showing up everywhere. Like I would read it, I'd hear it in songs, I'd see it on billboards, television, whatever, online, social media. It was just everywhere. And it stayed that way for a couple weeks. I'm going, this is, really showing up everywhere. What's going on? And so I had a couple, someone had given me, those little affirmation cards, like,
Yeah,
you're a rock star, you're
I love
awesome.
those.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I have some of those. So it was just like 6 or 8 of them, So I was digging around in my desk drawer. I'm like, oh, I still have them. So I put them in my purse and I thought, all right, next time I'm out and about doing errands, I'm just going to drop those. So I did. I was in a store, a local store. I just started dropping them like in with the cookies, or I shoved them in the back pocket of a pair of jeans, or I shoved them in with the motor oil. And I thought, okay, there I go. I just dropped those little nuggets of hope. I'm good. I did what I think I was supposed to do. But the word stuck around and it seemed to be showing up even more.
Yeah.
And I'm going, all right, someone's trying to tell me something here. And so I'm a person of faith. So I felt and still do feel that was God saying, hey, I need you to do this, but I need you to do it something, in a different way. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? And then this feeling, whisper, whatever you want to call it, was you need to personally give hope to someone. And I'm like, people are going to think I'm crazy or a stalker or a creeper. I can't just go up to strangers and say, I want to give you hope. So I was thinking, and it kind of had me worked up a little bit for a couple of days because it was so strong. And I'm like, I know I'm supposed to do this, but I can't figure out how. And then I realized, you know what, Kim, you're overthinking it. You're just overthinking it. people all around you are hurting. It doesn't matter where you live. People are hurting. So I'm like, just get online. And I, was looking up things for hope. And then I found those nuggets that I showed. There's actual polished stones with the word hope on them. And I was like, well, I'll get online and see if I can buy some. So I found some and bought them. They're not cheap. And I'm like, am I really supposed to be doing this? So I got some and I started carrying those around. And the first time I was out and about, had a couple in my pocket, and I saw an older woman, it happened to be in Walmart, in an aisle, just standing, staring at, the wall of whatever it is she was looking at, that was on the aisle shelves, just standing there. And it kind of, and of course, at first I wasn't really paying attention. I'm just doing my thing. And then I realized she's not really looking at whatever it is that she's staring at. She was kind of like frozen in place, like, and I don't know if anybody's ever had those. Maybe a lot of your listeners probably have, as I know I have.
Yep.
You have those moments where something triggers you and you are stopped in your tracks. You're just stopped. And you just kind of stand there like, oh gosh. And I've been there, and that's not fun. And I recognized that in this woman. And I just went, and I was so strong. She needs a nugget of hope, So I reached in my pocket and I just approached her very quietly and said, excuse me, ma'am, and held out my hand and said, I'd like to give you a nugget of hope today. And she held out her hand to a complete stranger. And I gently put it in her hand and said, I wish you a blessed day. And I turned to walk away because I strongly feel I'm not supposed to stay and chit chat. I'm not supposed to find out what their issue or problem or life is about. I'm just supposed to give them that and be on my way. And as I walked away, I heard her say, oh my goodness, you have no idea. Thank you. And I just kept walking, but I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. So I've been doing that for a couple of years now. And all of each interaction is so different, but there's so much of it is the same. And, I've had laughter, tears. I've had people hug me. I had an older woman say, oh my goodness, you must be my angel today. How I needed this.
Aww.
I mean, it is amazing. It's been such blessing after blessing, each person. And I don't know any of these people. And I've had anger. I had an older gentleman like yell and swear at me.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, because I know it wasn't me he was angry at, but he did accept the nugget and put it in his pocket.
So exactly, there's always, and this goes back to what we're saying, there's always other stuff going on, that when somebody is yelling at you, it's not necessarily about you.
Right. And most of the time it's not.
No.
And I sit there because sometimes I'll be like, who did that person think? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Kim, pull yourself down a little bit. Who do you think you are? That wasn't about you at all.
Right. Exactly.
And that's hard to do. That takes practice.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So something that was really hard when I started at my day job, and I think it's hard for a lot of people doing that customer service side of things, right, is to not take things personally.
Yeah.
Now, when you add in their past trauma, when you add in there some PTSD and things like that from anger and like being yelled at, and especially I would say like a childhood type of trauma, if you add that stuff in there, it is 10 times harder to then not take it personally, because you're also dealing with being triggered from other things that this person has. The person yelling at you has no idea that they're triggering you. They're just so upset. You are now being triggered. You're taking what they're saying personally, even though they are not being personal at you. And it's a very vicious cycle that goes around.
It is. And, there was so often over the years, because I live with PTSD and I'd shared that before with you.
Yeah.
So many times over the years, I'd look at that as a weakness.
Yes.
I'm a failure because I can't get over this. or, what's your problem, Kim? Suck it up, pull up your big girl pants. And then as time went on and I got more tools to put in my toolbox, I realized that no, there's nothing weak about living with PTSD. You're an incredibly strong person because you're fighting battles at times every day that no one else knows about because no one can see them. Exactly. And you do that day after day and you're still standing. You're still approaching another day. And thank God for that. You're not letting the demons win. And those battles are hard sometimes. But people around you out in the general public, you can't let people see that.
Right.
Oh, you know what I mean? You got to put that mask on. But also we don't have to go and explain ourselves to everybody either. That's why I work so hard. It's like, just be kind. Because the more I'm kind, I find it spreads. It really does. And the more I do for others helps me. So it helps to tame those demons down. It helps to shove them down a little bit farther.
No one has ever calmed down by being told to calm down.
Indeed.
Right? It's
actually that just pisses me off more.
Right? It's by somebody being kind. That's what calms it down. I remember I was on the phone this last Friday with a parent being upset. And I just kept the same tone of voice that I'm using here and just, what is the problem? Okay, well, this is why that happened. And here is what we can do and whatever, but not getting upset back. And that is easier said than done.
Yeah. No, it takes practice, truly. It really does. And I have found for myself anyway, I cannot handle, I can handle it. I don't want to handle drama.
Yes.
I reached a season in life where it's like, it's a no drama zone, in my house or in my realm. If you're bringing drama or you plan on bringing drama here, you will be asked to leave. And I've done that. Yeah. Say, hey, sorry, can't bring that stuff in here because it's not welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have asked a couple times that's happened. And I've said, you've got to leave now. Thank you. I can't, I've reached a seat where it's just, I'm not gonna, because this is my life. Yeah. And I have to do what's best for me. And that's so hard. And I'm just going to go from my own experience being, in the past, because when I was married, being a wife and a mom and working full time, it was always go, 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 do for everyone but yourself. That's just what you got to do. You got to keep so many plates in the air. You're a mom, you've got animals and all kinds of other stuff going on too. And you overlook or just completely shove to the back any of your self-care needs.
Exactly.
And it took me so long. I'll tell you, when my daughter went to college and I sat there and went, I have no idea who Kim is. I have no idea who I am anymore because I've been mom.
Yeah.
Run. And then I was like, I don't even remember what I liked to do before.
Right?
So it's a whole new journey, that empty nest syndrome thing, I mean, it's true. It's very real. But as the years went on and now it's, it's me and the dog. And when I hit 50, which was a few years ago, that's when I was like, you know what? We're not here forever. We're not promised today or tomorrow or even the next minute. So I've got to make my space as calm as I need it to be for me. And I got to focus on me now.
Yes.
And that I've found over the years that the more I practice self-care and recognize, got those crappy thoughts coming. We have to nip that in the bud today now, don't we, Kim? And I've learned how to do that for the most part. 90% of the time, I'm pretty good at doing that. But I've found that it's much easier for me to give kindness and compassion to others when I'm giving it to myself as well.
Right? You have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others.
Right. You can't help other people when your cup is empty.
Exactly. So talking about those, hey, let's nip this in the bud now. What are some of those things that you do to do that?
There's a couple. One is I breathe. I'm like, all right, Kim, in with the good, out with the bad. And there are times like a Walmart situation, like I'd mentioned earlier, looking at the pepper, and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed because you can't decide, was it that pepper or that pepper that I usually get? And for whatever reason, the pepper is what pushes you over the edge.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I just had this happen when me and my husband were out last Friday, and I'm looking at 2 muffins, and do I want blueberry or do I want the chocolate muffins? And I'm trying to decide, and he goes, why don't you just get both? Thinking that is a helpful response. To maybe a rational human being, it is.
Yeah.
It
But when you're in that mode,
more.
when you're in that mode, there is no rational thinking.
It made it worse.
Yeah.
Like, both. But what do you mean both? How can I get both? I don't need both. And like, it just made it. I did end up getting both because I got so overwhelmed that I'm just like,
Yeah. So I try and make
makes no
myself
sense.
breathe, in with the good, out with the bad. That's my mantra that I say in my head.
Yes.
And another thing, like at home, when I'm home, if I've got, anxiety just creeping in because I didn't sleep well because of nightmares, and you wake up and you're tired, you're overtired, your body, you feel like you're just slogging through, deep water, that kind of day. They're not fun. And there's a lot of heaviness and darkness to it. So I find myself, if my brain starts going dark thoughts, which is never healthy.
Mm-mm.
And at least now I can recognize it and say, no, not today. Not today. I have to say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that's like when the devil's sneaking in. That's how I say it. So I'm like, not today. I call him the D-man. Not today, D-man. It feels like days I've opened up the back door and said, come on in and trash my day. And, it's like, what are you thinking, Kim? Kick his butt out and shut the door. So I have to say it out loud. Not today. Not today. And then I will do this, I have to get outside. Doesn't matter the weather. So I'll grab the dog. We go outside. I'm like, all right, what can you see? What can you feel? What can you smell? And just breathe. Because nature is so healing.
Yeah.
And it's scientifically proven. Look it up. But it is so healing. And I spend as much time as I'm able to out there, out in the, and I'm lucky where I live. I have fields and woods around me. I'm in the country. So I don't know what people that live in the city, I don't know what you all do, because I couldn't handle it.
I have a fairly large backyard with a pretty significant garden.
Go out in there barefoot in the summertime and just breathe.
Just watch for landmines.
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's funny, and this is completely off topic, but dog poop. I have a big backyard. Like I said, I'm in the country. When we go walking, we're either out in the woods or out in the fields. My dog, he does not go in the yard. I have a big yard. I have like an acre yard. I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but a lot.
Yeah.
Acres. No, we do acres too.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's very strange, but yes, acres is something.
But he won't go poop in the backyard. He'll go out in the woods, even if it's just in the tree line. And it's so fun. I'm like, I'm so thankful that that's what you do.
So we have 3 dogs now.
Oh, okay.
And the first dog that we got, Freddie, which is Lev's service dog, he will not poop in the backyard. So it was great when he was our only dog. It was fantastic because you never had to clean up the backyard because he did not poop in the backyard. And so I've never actually heard another person say, "Yep, my dog doesn't poop in the backyard either." But he has to go for his walks. He has to go for a walk around and then poop. He will not do it in the backyard. The other 2, well, it's funny. They'll poop in the backyard. They never really poop when we go for a walk.
I just love animals.
Oh, they are just the best.
Their
But
personalities and their quirks. Yeah, I just love them.
I totally get it when you're saying that your dog needs to go out to the woods and do it, because I
Yeah.
got one of those. Yep.
And my dog before, Digger, that I had for 14 years, he was exactly the same way. So when I got Dexter a few years ago after Digger had passed, I was so surprised that I had another dog that did that, because I really didn't know that dogs did that outside of mine.
Yeah. Yep. They do.
Yay. I'm so glad we talked about dog poo today.
Right? Who knew poop could be so interesting?
I know. And your listeners are like, what are they talking about?
Just a little poop talk for you. A little potty time.
Oh, you never know where the conversation's going to go.
You're not. And that's why I've had some guests be like, so do you have questions I can prepare for? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Nope. But that's why I've got the questionnaire, though, because it does give, I hope it gives a sense of what we want to accomplish with the show. But we don't know where it's going to go. We might end up in the toilet, but we have a sense of accomplishment.
If not the toilet, the backyard. Who knows?
Exactly. Hey, the puppy toilet.
That's right. That is right.
Anyway, so we were talking about walking in the forest. Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah, breathing. That's my thing. And then using my senses. That seems to ground me. That'll bring me back and pull me out of that darkness. Because I don't know. I'm sorry
I have to get this thought out because it's horrible. Because we were just talking about dog poop, and then you go, I have to use my senses. My first thought was maybe not around when your dog's poop.
You had a mental picture going on there, didn't you?
I did because I had it. I needed everyone else to also have it.
There we go. There. Now everyone can think about my dog pooping.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Maybe not take a big whiff of the fresh air.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. There's also a dog park a mile from where I live, which is funny. And we go there every day simply because it's a different place to walk. It's 65 acres of nothing but fields and woods and 4 ponds. It is so beautiful. And Dexter just loves getting there because every day it's new smells. There's all kinds of critters that have gone through the night before. And 65 acres, that's a big chunk.
That is huge. Yeah.
And so we walk the perimeter of it, and it's like 1.25 miles.
Wow.
And so we do that every day, sometimes twice a day. And he gets what he needs from it, but I get an awful lot from it too. Mm-hmm. And like right now it's fall here, and all the leaves are changing color, and the smells are different, and the sun is in the sky in a different way. So the sunlight is a little softer and at a slant, and it's just, everything's changing, and the smells and the feeling and the way the wind feels on your skin, like yesterday was really chilly and the breeze was really cold, and you could feel your cheeks getting cold and getting red and the tip of your nose. And I'm feeling all that stuff, focusing on all of that takes you out of any negativity.
Right. Yep.
And so that's practice too, though, because sometimes it's really hard to claw your way out. Yeah. But it's dangerous to stay there, folks. Yeah. You don't want to, I always say, get stuck in my own muck.
Yep.
But you have to learn, you have to find those ways for you, and whatever works for me might not work for you. You got to find those things and make it it's a daily practice. You have to. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy. It's hard. I'm not making light of any of it. In anyone's situation, it's so real. Yeah. And so even though people can't see it, others can't see it, and many don't understand it. They try, but they can't because they're not in your shoes or walking your journey. You've got to find what is best for you. Now, me, it's being outside. And a lot of times it's just being alone. And for some people, being alone is not healthy.
And for some people, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't.
Right.
Right? Like every day could be different, because there's definitely days that I'm just like, leave me alone. And then there's days that I'm like, I don't want to be alone.
Right.
I better not be alone.
Yeah. 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 There are a lot of days I just don't want to people, you
Right?
know,
Peopling
but
is hard.
yeah. But then there are days it's like, you know what, Kim, you better get out of the house and go be around people, even if it's to go to the grocery store.
Exactly.
Get out.
And it's
Because I've often said to my family and stuff, I'm like, it would be so easy for me to become a recluse.
yes.
I could do that very easily.
Yeah.
And especially with winter time coming, that's my struggle.
Yeah.
And it's dark early.
Yes.
And
And it's
I mean, there's
cold.
like very little daylight anymore. And that it just seems like everything is like,
Yeah.
and I have to make myself get outside more or go places where other humans are.
Right? Exactly. Must do something. And that's what I keep telling my kids. So she is just such severe anxiety
Oh,
that leaving the house is hard. Right? And especially if she's having a day that also depression is hitting hard. But I'm just like, yes, but you feel worse because you're not doing it. And I know it's so hard to leave and go do something, but even just, and I say it, go take the puppies for a drive, take them for a walk around the block. And she's got her license now. So, take them, go get a pup cup. She loves watching them have pup cups. So like, go get a pup cup with them. It will take you 20 minutes tops, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, but then you're doing something getting up. But easier said than
yeah.
done.
The physical movement really, really does make a difference.
Yeah.
And I found I started doing a while ago, about a year ago, because I had lung surgery.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, last September. And that knocked me for a loop.
Yeah.
And it was much harder. My recovery was much harder than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough. And so I couldn't do anything. And
Mhm.
I'm not one that doesn't do anything. I
Right?
have to be walking every day with the dog, so it was 5 weeks I couldn't do anything. And that was really starting to take a toll on my mental health.
Yes.
And I saw it and I'm like, what can I do? I can't do anything physically. I can't breathe. It hurts, and I had to be very, very careful. And then I had a couple little complications, so it's like I had an allergic reaction to the stuff they put on you before surgery, but it's a delayed reaction. There's actually a term for it, delayed something. So I had this horrendous rash, like oozing rash on my torso
Oh.
for several weeks. And I went, why am I having this a week after
Yeah.
surgery? And they said that's how it presents itself, is like a week later, and you just have to ride it out. It's up to 3 weeks long. You'll have it. It was awful. So, all these little things, and I couldn't move. That was really hard. So I started, I found online, like a lady who does online exercises for seniors, because I'm like, I have to do it really slow.
Yes.
So, and she's actually from Canada. Actually,
We're awesome.
it's on YouTube. It's called Improved Health, and it's a lady my age in her 50s from Canada.
Nice.
But it was all, so I started, and she has some of them are 10 minutes long, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to try that. So I started doing that in my house, just slow, sometimes just walking in place, just doing that for me, because I have to physically move. And now I'm up to 4.5 miles a day.
That's awesome.
A year later. But that's what I did to try, and because it was so hard to do anything, and 10 minutes some days was hard because I was like, I can't breathe. But I still tried. It's so easy to just fall in.
It's so easy to just not, especially when you think, oh, I only have 10 minutes, or I can only do this for 10 minutes. So like, not last week. Last week I was sick. The week before, I had a serious arthritis fibromyalgia flare up. Like I was on the ground crying, right? It was bad. And so of course my head is telling me it will never get better, first off,
Yeah.
which I'm like, well, I know it's just a flare up, so it might last a couple of days, but it will go down. But no, my brain's like, it's never going to get better. You're never going to be able to do anything. You just lie here and die, basically. But some days when things like that are happening, I mean, when it's that bad, I do just lay there and cry because I literally can't move. But there are days before it gets that bad, or as I'm coming out of it, where it's like, hey, I can move a little bit, I can do a little bit, and walking is not my friend because it's a lot of it in the hips. When it flares up, right? But okay, well then I've started finding Pilates. Floor Pilates, and there's an app, what the heck, 30-day Pilates or something that I use, and it has really short ones you can pick from like easy to hard, but on those days I just pick an easy one. And honestly, sometimes it's like, let's just move our arms up and down, right? And it's so silly because I was kickboxing, like competitively kickboxing and working out 3 times a day and like super high level, going, I'm going to move my arms up and down. I'm like, it took me a long time to go, you know what? This is actually still good. This still works. This is okay. And instead of berating myself for why aren't we doing jumping jacks? Why aren't we skipping? Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
No.
And it's easy. It's easy to be like, oh, come on, Kim, suck it up. You can do it. I learned through that process last year of my recovery was, Kim, be gentle with yourself.
Yes.
And because I was like, all right, Kim, next week, you're going to feel even a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And then the next week would come and I'd be like, I'd do a check-in, because that was what I had to do for myself.
Yes.
Do a check-in. All right, Kim, you just did that for 7 minutes. And last week you could only do it for 5. Right. Look at you. Amazing. So I would tell myself, look at you go, girl, Yeah. And I had to, so I guess my message is celebrate those little wins.
Yeah.
So maybe you can't go walking, you live in a city. Maybe you can't go walking 5 city blocks. I think that equals like a mile. You know what? Walk around the block once.
Yep. That's all I could manage now. Like, we used to walk our dogs all the way to downtown, which is probably 6-7 city blocks, like a good chunk.
It's probably like a mile and a quarter, mile and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a good while. We used to do that every single day. And now I get around my block if I'm lucky. Right. But
you can get around the block.
Exactly. So it used to be, I can only get around the block. What the heck? Now I've started, because I have to reverse my thinking, reverse that negative self-talk. And I go, I did a block.
Right. Each of those milestones, that's why when I was able to do 2 miles, I was like, oh my gosh,
Right?
And now just within like the last 2 months, I hit that. Every day I hit between 4 and 4.5 miles. Wow. When I hit that, now it took me a year.
Yeah.
But I was like, and I was just so excited. And so I actually got myself one of those walk pads, for your house.
Okay.
It's like what are they called?
Kind of like a treadmill type deal.
It's like a treadmill, only it's much smaller. Yeah. It's just for walking.
Yeah.
And so I got one a couple months ago, and I thought, with winter time coming.
Right. Yes.
So it was on one of those Prime Day deals.
Oh, I love Prime Days.
So I got it for like 65% off. And I went, oh, I'm getting that. Yeah. So, and I use that at nighttime, because I get edgy at nighttime too, because it's dark so early. So it might be 8:00 at night and I'm watching something on YouTube or something on television. I just pull that out, because it has wheels and you can put it under the couch or whatever. And I'll pull that out and I'll just get on there and just start walking. And as you're watching TV and I'm moving, to me, that's just like, all right, my brain is focused. My body's doing its thing.
Yes.
I end up, like last night, I ended up walking for an hour and didn't even realize it.
Exactly. It's
easy. You can go at your own pace. And I'm like, I am so glad that I got this little walk pad.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You got to find what's right for you.
Yeah. There's so many different things.
Yeah. And there's so many different, and all kinds of different apps. Like you mentioned the app that you use.
Yeah, exactly.
And I found that Canadian woman, I can't remember her name, but it's called Improved Health, folks. Get on YouTube and check her out. Nice, gentle exercises. She has higher end too, but if you're, some days, and I still do her exercise. Some days I'll do the half-hour one, and some days I'll just do a 15-minute one that's gentle.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah, you can't
great
keep
thing.
moving.
Selection.
Yes, she's got a huge selection of video. I mean, she's really awesome, truly.
I feel like it comes down to, and this is what it comes down to for me. So giving yourself permission that a little bit is good.
Yes, and you know what? Someone told me the other day, it was a while ago. They said, what you have to tell yourself is it's okay for now. For now.
For now, I like that.
Because you're looking forward, but what you're doing right now, it's great for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was awesome.
That is awesome. I do like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal it.
And the other thing is, my therapist told me this because of the whole negative self-talk. She's like, Kim, catch yourself. You're doing it again. You just put yourself down. Why? And then I never have an answer. It's like, I don't know why I just put myself down.
Yeah.
And she says, okay, she says, there's something I want to tell you. She goes, all this stuff that you think you're a failure at, or you can't do, or, negative. Remind yourself that you have a 100% success rate for making it through the tough stuff because you're still standing.
Oh, dang.
When she told me that, my brain went,
yeah,
and I went, oh my gosh. Sometimes it's just one of those, like a sentence or a picture or something that just stops you in your tracks, and you're like, whoa. And it just brings so much clarity.
I feel like you need to say that again because it is so.
I know. And I have it on a bright yellow sticky note on my wall above my computer. So as soon as I sit down every day before I start to work, I look up and that's what I see. And it says, Kim, I wrote it to myself, Kim, your success rate for getting through. Now I have it worded different. Your success rate for getting through the tough shit is 100% because you're still standing.
I love it. I think I might need to make a poster.
Well, that's like, I know, I'm making a coffee cup out of that sucker. Make a poster if you want, but I'm making a coffee cup. But I just thought that was so awesome when she shared that with me. And how sometimes one of those things, it's that light bulb that you need.
Yeah.
You might have been reading 10 other books or talked to 2 other therapists, but it was that one person that said that one sentence, and all of a sudden you just went, the angels sang, and you understood it.
It took me 3 years of talking to people, over 200 people, and this is the key.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Isn't
having a podcast awesome?
It is. I absolutely love it.
I have gotten so many nuggets of hope from my guests on my show.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Yeah. People all over the world. We are so more alike than people realize. Right? That's why I don't know why people are always trying to divide.
Right. We are so much more alike. And I have met some awesome people that I stay in touch with that, put me in their box, or just, or in general that I stay in touch with and I've become friends with because, you meet them on the podcast and you just vibe.
Yeah. And that's one thing about technology. I mean, we can complain about it all we want, and I do. But one thing about technology that happened, in the last 5 years, it really did open the world to people.
It did.
I've got a group of ladies in England, and we meet once a month. That I met the first year, when the world shut down, in an online networking thing for women. 3 of them I still keep in touch with. They're all from England, and once a month we have a Zoom. And it's a coffee chat. We all have coffee, or they drink their tea, and I have my coffee, and we call ourselves the International Sunshine Girls, because when we get together, the 4 of us, we come up with all these ideas that we could make the world a better place. And if people would just listen to us, the world would be a better place.
I love it. I love that.
So once a month, and that I never would have met those people otherwise.
Yeah.
So technology really has opened up the world, not only for bad, but for good.
Exactly. And let's focus on the good. That's what this
right.
episode has all been about, is focusing
That's
on
right.
the good.
Be kind. Dang it.
That's right. So as we wrap up this little part of the interview here, I always like to end with a question. So what piece of wisdom would you give to somebody who, let's see, who is going through a hard time and just sees all the, oh, that's a hard thing, and that's a hard thing, and that's a hard thing, and we're just piling all these hard things together. What's your piece of wisdom?
Breathe, dear heart, breathe. Your brain might be in a swirl, and I've been there, and I'll be there again. I know I will. I know myself. Breathe. That has been so helpful for me. It might not help you, but you got to find something that helps you. Talk to people. Don't sit in the darkness by yourself. Don't sit in the darkness by yourself. I don't know if you guys have a call number in Canada, but in the United States, it's 988.
We do.
You dial 988, and that's the
I wrote it somewhere, but now I don't remember.
Well, at least in the US, it's 988, and that's the International Crisis Hotline. If you don't feel comfortable, you've got to reach out to someone because you're not alone. You might feel it. You might feel like you are, and I understand that, and I can say that because I've been there. But reach out to someone if you need to. Breathe, but then also, like I just said a couple minutes ago, remind yourself you have a 100% success rate for getting through the tough shit because you're still there. You're still here. You might be in your muck, stuck in your muck right now, but you're still there. You're still here, and the world needs you. There's a reason you're still here because the world needs you. So reach out, call crisis hotline, whatever it might be in Canada, 988 in the States. Do what you have to do to help yourself, because we all need help sometimes.
Yes.
So do what you need to do to help yourself feel better, and find those little things that you can practice daily. And I swear, for me anyway, it takes time, but if you intentionally practice some of these things, you will feel better. Maybe not forever, because I know I can only speak for me, but when I breathe, or I get outside, or I read my little sticky note as that reminder, Kim, you've got a 100% success rate. Holy cow. Holy cow. Mm-hmm. We're here for a reason. Yeah. We might not know what the reason is, but you're here for a reason too. So don't give up. Gosh, no, don't give up.
I love that. That's good. That's some great wisdom right there. So we've already a little bit talked about what you've written or what's coming up, but tell us a little bit more. Here's the recent Paw Prints book, guys. It's wonderful.
I've gotten some great, really beautiful feedback from folks that have read the book. They're short reads. It's kind of like a chicken soup for the soul.
I just have to share this. Look at it.
Oh, see there's Diamond.
She was my baby for 19 years. My baby.
Yeah, Randy's got 2 books. There we go. Freddie.
This is the one that won't poop in the backyard right there. That's him.
Yeah, no, it really is. It was, and it's fun to do. And it's an anthology. So it's got close to, I think, 20 different co-authors sharing stories. They're short reads, like 5-minute reads, each story, I think. And, available on Amazon. And what was really fun was it was an Amazon top new release for several weeks after it was first released. And it was really fun to see that it was hanging in there.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Look at all of us go.
I know. So, people love their pets. And my dog, Dexter, he wrote the foreword because he's a really smart dog.
That was a really good foreword.
Yes, he's very smart. But so yeah, that one just came out in August. Love doing it. We're going to do another one. So watch my website, which is kimlenglingauthor.com. I will be putting a little post on there soon. A little call out for co-authors for the 3rd and final version of Paw Prints. And it's going to be called Paw Prints on the Porch. Oh, that's the 3rd and final one. And you don't have to be a published author. I've got folks in this book that had never written before. And so not to worry. The stories are, read through, edited, all of that, tweaked the way they need to be. So you don't have to worry. We want to be able to share those stories with the world, because pets are amazing.
They are.
Pets are amazing. And proceeds from the books go towards a local no-kill shelter in my area. So we are helping those abused and neglected animals that end up at this shelter. And they do amazing, amazing stuff. And it's just, I couldn't do what they do because I would end up going to these humans' houses locked and loaded.
Yeah.
So I know I couldn't do what she does, especially with these like hoarding and abuse cases. I just couldn't, when the police go and they say, we've got 50 dogs here that are all malnourished and dead.
One of my cats is named Mr. Fridge because he was found in a hoarder's house hiding in a fridge.
Oh, see, that's when it's like, I'm not leaving my house because I don't like humans.
Right? Exactly. But he is quite happy here. He's living the cushy life now.
Yeah, my both my last dogs were rescues. Got them from a kill shelter. So and they live their best lives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All my babies are.
Right. So that's part of, well, that's a big part of why I'm doing this series is to help in my small way. I can make like each quarter from any royalties, and sometimes they're decent, sometimes they're not, but whatever it is that the book might make, each quarter goes to that shelter. So that's, why I'm doing that, because I don't make nothing on these books.
And that's why I added my stories.
It's a lot of work. Well, you know that, Randy. It's a lot of work putting a book together and getting it out. It's a tremendous, especially when you have 20 co-authors.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love doing it. And then Nuggets of Hope is coming out November 15th. You can pre-order the ebook right now on Amazon.
1 month.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. And next year, 2025, Paw Prints on the Porch will be out probably in August. That's the plan. And who else, who knows what else is going on? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have some ideas. They're percolating up there.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Okay. So, so the one in November 15th is called Nuggets of Hope?
Nuggets of Hope, Cultivate Kindness. Yes.
Excellent. And you can order online now?
You can pre-order the ebook online. Yep.
Perfect. So everybody head over to Amazon, pre-order. Come on.
And you can check out whatever else I'm doing on my website. Like I said earlier, it's at kimlenglingauthor.com. Everything I'm doing on there, and my podcast is on there. So you can even listen to the episodes on there because that updates automatically.
Which is called?
My podcast is called Let Fear Bounce.
And you're on social media?
Indeed, I am. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the normal, LinkedIn, all that stuff. I'm actually kind of, although I post and I schedule my stuff out to go out to all those platforms, I personally don't spend a lot of time on them. Mm-hmm. It's too negative right now.
It really is.
Everything. And I'm going, why am I getting all this stuff in my feed?
Right. I want just happy puppy and kitty stories. Maybe some horses.
I'm getting so much.
Alligators.
It's really gotten bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is no. So I now, and I have been for a while, I will create all of my stuff and schedule it out.
Yes.
So I'm not spending so much time on social because it's just too much negativity. And why would I purposely let negativity in?
Right. Exactly. No, I'm the same. I don't want to be on there. I'm
not going to participate in it. I won't participate.
I just want the good stuff and I want the bad
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on the show again.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It was kind of weird, frantic, I had the time wrong, but because we're both in the same time zone.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I thought originally. And then you said that and I'm like, but it's not till 9:30.
I honestly thought it was 9 o'clock.
That's okay because it all worked out and we got to talk about some great stuff and some stinky stuff and some more great stuff.
That's right. We got to talk about mental health and poop.
Right? Who knows those two things could go together? The way things roll together, sometimes you just don't know. All right. So thank you.
Thank you. Have an awesome day.
You too. As always, thank you so much for the amazing guests that we have on the show. Be sure to check out their links down in the description below. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and check out our merch store. We've got some very cool things on there. That's my favorite. Sorry, I'm busy ending the stigma. But there's some other very cool designs. 10% of the proceeds always goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at RB Media because we have some great new shows coming up and you never want to miss any of those episodes. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye!